and I came to read.
Okay, listen, I'm back and it's time for y'all to wake up, all right? Y'all already know that every other week we do Patreon topic videos on this channel. Now, how this works is the highest tiers on Patreon, they have a chance to vote on the topics that I'll be talking about in these videos. So the one that was picked is comparing yourself to others. Now, well, I just want everyone to know that when I'm making these videos, I am not claiming that I'm some expert in these areas or anything like that, or like I know everything and I have nothing to learn at all. Let me tell you something. Half the reason I'm making these videos is because I need to be implementing what I'm talking about in my life. So it's kind of like a journey together. You can think of it like that. I am in no way an expert at any of this shit. And you know, the dialogue, the back and forth, the comments, that's so important for us to grow together and to make sure that we are shedding those badass habits. A lot of that shit comes from how we were raised too, and we have to unlearn it. So yeah, I'm just putting that disclaimer on this shit. But I think this is an important topic to talk about. So when we talk about comparing yourselves to other people and how that can be dangerous, I think that there is a difference from being mentored by other people or inspired by other people versus, oh my God, beating yourself up and be like, oh my God, that person did this in X amount of years, or this person did this in 2 weeks. Why is it taking me so long? A lot of times, and I know it's crazy that I keep talking about social media and I'm literally working on social media, but social media, if you're not careful, it will make you doubt everything that you've ever done in your life. And that's specifically because when people go on social media, they're going to be posting their successes, their wins. They're going to be posting their strengths. They're not, a lot of times, they're not going to be on here posting every time that they got fucked over, every no that they've heard, how many times they had to try again. I mean, for example, I'll do a video. Sometimes occasionally I'm just like, this shit's not good. I'll delete that shit and start over. But you don't see that process. You know what I mean? So you have to keep in mind that a lot of times what you see is not necessarily as simple as it seems. That's the first thing. The second thing I think is that we have to respect our processes. And I know that sounds very like cliche to say, but it is so real. And I've noticed that as I continue to live my life and I get older and my perspectives change and I have epiphanies, is that you have to respect your own process. It kind of ties back into the previous topic video that I made. It's just like, if someone came to you and said, hey sis, like I'm feeling super discouraged, I see all these people around me and they're making it and I feel like I'm stuck in a rut somewhere, you would not shit on them. If they came to you and told you that, you would not say, well girl, that's exactly, bitch, you should be further, you should have accomplished more, how dare you, you know what I mean? You wouldn't do that to a friend or someone who came to you with those concerns. So why are we doing that to ourselves? Respect the process. I mean, I always read these stories about how Michael Jordan got kicked off the basketball team and how people started businesses, super successful businesses later on in their lives. So just because today didn't work out does not mean that tomorrow is going to be shitty as well. I remember I was discouraged and someone told me, like, you are bigger than this moment. And I think that's very important. The other thing, which I think is one of the most important things, is what is success? What does success mean? What does success look like? Success looks like different things to different people, okay? And the first thing is that you should not be feeling like shit just because your version of success, it may not include 10,000 houses. It may not include 500 cars. Success to you may look like peace. If I'm working a small, simple job and I love what I do and I feel fulfilled, maybe that's what success looks like to you and you'll be happy. Shit, there are other people who have sacrificed so much of themselves and so much of their own personality and their time and their money, trying to live up to this idea of success that may have been passed down from their parents, or maybe they feel pressure from society. And it's one thing if that's something that you want to do, keep moving. But if it's not, I think that we have to really analyze what that means, And also, we don't know what these people have had to do for this success that seems pretty on paper. And I'm not downing successful people or people who are visibly super duper successful. All I'm saying is that sometimes when we aspire to these things, we don't realize how much we have to sacrifice. We don't realize how much these people have had to give up. We don't know how much that success costs. We don't know how long it took them to even get to a sustainable place. And like I said, social media will have you thinking that some people got all their shit together when they really don't. So all of this can be a facade. So that's what I'm saying, and this goes goes for me as well. Instead of trying to measure success based off of outside factors, I think that we have to move internally. We have to look inside and say, see, where was I last year? Where was I the year before that? How can I get to where I think that I want to go? And that's it. You take it a step at a time. But if you keep beating yourself up and trying to measure yourself up against somebody else who had a different situation, they could have got a little bit of luck. Sometimes that happens. They didn't have to deal with the things that you did. They're on a different timeline than you are simply because of how their life is structured. When we keep beating ourselves up, we're doing nobody any favors, and we're also infringing upon our own ability to focus on whatever the hell we're trying to do. Over here, busy focusing on people, getting jealous of it. For what? For what? And the thing is, the inception-y part of this whole thing is that while you're over here trying to compare yourself to somebody else, that very same person is doing the same thing with somebody else. So it's like a never-ending cycle. Because you talk to certain people that you think like, oh my God, they have this, they have that, they have that. They must be so goddamn happy, you know? And a lot of times they are just as hard on themselves as you are on yourself. And this is just one example that I'm gonna bring up, like DJ Khaled, and just because he's one of the topics that I'll be talking about in another video that I'll be doing today. But you know, take for example DJ Khaled, and this goes for all these rich people. DJ Khaled throwing a whole fit right now, okay? Because his album did not go #1, okay? It was Tyler the Creator's album that went #1, and his album, he felt like it was he's talking about suing Billboard and everything, okay? So when you look at all these rich people and he's successful, you can argue that DJ Khaled is extremely successful. He ain't got to worry about shit. He ain't got to worry about no money. But that internal struggle is something that money will never be able to dominate. It will never be able to erase. I just could not imagine sitting in a Bentley or whatever and just being mad. I mean, rich as hell, you know, rich as hell, being mad that my album was #2 instead of #1. So it's just like you see and DJ Khaled is not the only person who does that shit. A lot of super duper rich people, successful people, making huge deals out of things that if you had their life, you're like, bitch, I wouldn't be stressed out about that shit, you know? But that just goes to show you that all the success, the money, all that shit, it will mean nothing if you're not confident in what you're doing, or if you don't have a strong sense of who you are, what you want to do. You know, I just could not imagine being that rich and being that pressed. So that's what I'm saying. If we keep having this attitude, if we keep having putting this pressure on ourselves and beating ourselves up, when we do get to whatever level of success, it will feel empty. It will feel empty. So we have to, I don't know, like, I'm sure you can tell by how I'm speaking that it really does, like, it applies to me. It applies to my life in so many different ways. I mean, even from academics to what I'm doing online right now, especially when I was younger, just comparing from my mama, comparing myself to my mama, to everybody else who's doing, like, oh my God, there's no excuse. Why can't I do this? Meanwhile, somebody might be looking at me in the same way, and I'm not taking in that energy, I'm not taking in that encouragement because I'm so focused on what somebody else is doing, you know? And then that's when the jealousy can jump out. For what? What are you jealous? You don't even know that person's life or what they had to deal with, or sometimes you don't know who they had to fuck over. And that's important too. You don't know who they had to fuck over to get into the position that they are. And a lot of times people have different sets of morals, and like you look at them and you see like, oh yes, oh they got it all, and then you see how they got it, and you just like, if that's what it costs to get that shit, do I really want it? You know, do I really want it? So I think that all the points that I brought up are so important, but it was important that I not only said it to all of you, but that I said it to myself. You know, there's always a cost, and sometimes you don't know what it is, especially when you're looking from the outside in. The real navigation comes when you figure out, like, do I want to pay it? How much do you want to pay to get what you want? And you know, not even monetary wise, emotional wise, mental health wise. You see what I'm saying? And I know I keep rambling on and on, but I'm just saying, like, your only goal should be to strive to be better than you were yesterday. And even then, sometimes setbacks happen. Sometimes you make dumbass decisions. Sometimes you make mistakes, girl. Just keep moving forward. That's it. Forward. But yeah, I'm done blabbing on and on. Let me tell you something. I want you guys to sign up to Patreon and check this shit out. I'm telling you, I love the fact that you guys are able to vote on shit, and we're able to come here and have a cool ass discussion. Go over there, check it out. I want to grow that. I want to grow Patreon even more. I hope that you guys enjoy what I'm doing and the content that I'm creating. It is very therapeutic. You have no idea. Give yourself peace, give yourself time, and respect your process, and also have a good goddamn evening.